A doctor working at Walter Reed Medical Center has no regrets about calling him out for endangering his staff. So now this is Dr. James Phillips, who was an emergency room doctor who worked at Walter Reed. He tweeted on Sunday that he had worked his last shift at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, where Trump was successfully treated for COVID-19 back in October. So now he went to the hospital, and he went to Walter Reed. He got airlifted there, received, experimental cocktails of enhanced drugs to be able to help him fight off his COVID-19 infection, and it worked. I wish we all had access to the same level of care that the president had, or at least the same level of care that our Congress has, which is a lot better than most of the American people. A little bit of socialized medicine in that case. But I digress. All right, so he goes there and he gets treated, and of course, obviously, he recovers quite nicely. And so during his recovery, though, when he was still contagious, allegedly with the virus, he decided to go on a little bit of a joyride. And that's where Dr. Phillips had criticized him. In fact, here's what he said back in October. He said Trump's decision to go on that little joyride endangered the lives of Secret Service agents in the car. In a deleted tweet, he wrote, "Every single person in that vehicle during that completely unnecessary presidential drive-by just now has to be quarantined for 14 days. Which is true. They might get sick, they might die for political theater, commanded by Trump to put their lives at risk for theater. This is insanity." In a subsequent tweet, also deleted, he said the president's irresponsibility is just astounding. There's nothing in that that's controversial to me, right? Yeah, he's speaking truth. That was irresponsible. Yes, he put the Secret Service drivers at risk of getting infected, or, getting infected, possibly getting sick, or, having long haul, the COVID long haul thing, neurological damage. There's a lot of things that can happen with this virus, but even if they didn't get sick from this, they could still spread it to other people, family members, friends, other, coworkers, etc. And so there's a problem here. And so it was right to call this out as being, irresponsible. I mean, if you're any politician, I don't care if you're right-wing, left-wing, whatever. I don't care if you're Nancy Pelosi, going out to eat with your friends in the house. You shouldn't be doing that. You should not be doing that. You shouldn't be holding fundraisers. You shouldn't be holding luncheons or dinners. You shouldn't be, exposing other people possibly to a virus. That's not a good example. You're not setting a good example if you do that, okay? And so going to why this tweet was deleted, by the way, he was likely forced to do it. I don't know for certain. I'm just assuming that it was. Again, I think that it was a bad look on Walter Reed. Even though what he is saying was true, they looked at that and said, well, the president didn't like it, so we're going to have to get rid of that. We're going to have to get rid of this person. Now, hospital officials did say, and this is according to CBS News, who reported in early December, that Phillips had been removed from Walter Reed's schedule starting in January. They told CBS News, though, the hospital did, that they were not responsible for removing him from the schedule, and said, well, that's the contractor's fault. Oh, right. The contractor, it's all their fault. A representative for Phillips' contractor, GW Medical Faculty Associates, told CBS News that it would not comment on scheduling matters, but that he was still employed by the group. So he didn't actually lose his job, but he also lost his job. He's not working at Walter Reed Medical Center anymore. So now my brain says, oh, the president said something, or one of his advisors is like, hey, that doctor that said mean things about me on Twitter, or that actually said the truth, but anything that Donald Trump doesn't like is mean things. Yeah, I don't want him around. Retribution. It's political. So yeah, he got removed from that. He's probably going to end up going somewhere else. It's the only explanation that, that I can see is that it's a retribution taking him off the schedule because he did call out the president in a way that was very, very public. All right. So, I mean, you know it. We know the president's incredibly petty. We know Trump, right? And by the way, that entire Joyride, and that's what it was to try to show people how tough he is. Oh yeah, look at me, I'm strong. I'm such an alpha man. I got good genes. I'm not sick. I'm not weak. His oxygen dropped quite a bit during his stay at Walter Reed, and so it's a virus. People get sick. There's no shame in in fighting off a virus. Yes, it can be very dangerous to someone in Trump's demo, really, in his age group, with his build and his health problems. And I'm saying that as somebody who is not exactly in the best shape either, as far as, when it comes to weight. I'm a little heavy, a little portly, a little roly-poly here, but that's okay. I don't really have any other health conditions, but I'm also not 78 years old, or however old the president is. I think it's actually Biden that's 78. And nonetheless, Biden would also be at risk as well. And so those risk factors, not good to have. Not good to have. So you don't want to mess around with this stuff. And you certainly don't want to spread it around to other people for vanity. And that's the big problem here. He did this because of his own vanity. There's so many members of the Secret Service now and people who are at the White House who were unnecessarily exposed to COVID-19 because the president refused to wear masks, refused to socially distance, refused to take precautions until it was too late. And so, yes, this doctor was absolutely right to call him out, and this doctor paid the price for his job. But I wouldn't feel too bad for him, and here's why. This doctor probably has a ton of opportunity. I mean, given both his work resume, I mean, working at Walter Reed Military Medical Center, where they treat the president of the United States, I mean, that's really good. That's very impressive, looks great on a resume. And not only that, but calling out one of the most unpopular presidents in modern day history. I mean, I think he's gonna be just fine. He's got all the opportunity in the world. So this is really not much of a big loss for him, but an interesting story nonetheless. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.